digo a los viajeros, estamos en Santiago, como custodio dejo atrás la Virgen de la Caridad, la que me vio partir, la que me vio llegar. Ya te diré mis penas, ya te contaré mis alegrías. Cuando yo me vaya te diré adiós, adiós, Virgen mía. Cuando me vaya te diré adiós, Virgen querida de mi adoración. Tanto te he querido, tanto te he adorado, Virgen te lo pido, estar a tu lado. Cuando me vaya te diré adiós, Virgen querida de mi adoración. Virgen milagrosa, por ti suspiramos, eres una diosa del pueblo cubano. Ay, cubano, cuando me vaya te diré adiós, Virgen querida de mi adoración. Estás presente en sitio ideal, tú cuidas a Oriente, tierra natal. Cuando me vaya te diré adiós, Virgen querida de mi adoración. Cuando me vaya te diré adiós, Virgen querida de mi adoración. Cuando me vaya te diré adiós, Virgen querida de mi adoración. Ya te diré mis penas, ya te contaré mis alegrías. Cuando yo me vaya te diré adiós, adiós, Virgen mía.
Good morning, and thank you for the music, and welcome all of you, and thank you for joining us this morning here at UNICEF House. My name is Charlotte Peter-Gonitska, and I'm the Deputy Executive Director here at UNICEF. And for anyone who doesn't know what UNICEF is, we are the United Nations Children's Fund. We stand up for the rights of every child in every part of the world, every day. Sometimes it is our job to speak up for children when their voices are not heard. But more often, it's our job to listen and to make sure that the world listens to them too. And that's why we are here today. That's what we're going to do today. In a moment, you're going to hear from 15 children who have joined together to demand their rights. And before I welcome them to the stage, let me share a few short remarks to set the scene. We are celebrating an important anniversary this year. It's the 30th anniversary of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. And it states that children's rights are human rights. It went on to become the most widely ratified human rights treaty in history. And it has helped to transform children's lives. For several years, UNICEF called for every child to have a real way to complain if their rights were being violated, and a way to get action taken to protect their rights. And finally, 5 years ago, a special mechanism was created to give children a way to complain about violation of their rights directly to the UN. And UNICEF is delighted to see children using this mechanism, of course, and exercising their rights here today. And we are proud to meet our responsibility to make sure that children have a venue, a platform where they can have their voices heard. Since this is on an official process, it's important to be clear that UNICEF is not a party of this complaint. We are neutral, and we play no part in the adjudication process. The complaint belongs to the child petitioners, and the adjudication is done by an independent committee of experts. Nonetheless, we are in no doubt. The climate crisis is a child rights crisis. Climate change has the potential to undermine most of the gains made in child survival and development over the past 30 years. It threatens the progress made in reducing the number of children who die from preventable diseases. It threatens children's rights to protection and to an education, and it is already damaging children's rights to their own cultures and traditions. And I could go on. There is perhaps no greater threat facing the rights of the next generation of children. And that is why UNICEF is working around the world to protect children from the worst impacts of climate change. And UNICEF also calls on the international community to redouble its efforts to reduce emissions and pollution to mitigate climate change. Children and young people are speaking up for themselves in ways and in numbers that seemed unimaginable just a few years ago. We have to listen to them and to stand with them and take action. I can think of no better way to child rights than to give a voice to children leading the change, leading the charge to defend them. So let's welcome the child petitioners to the stage and hear from them.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming. First, I'd like to tell you a little bit about who we are and why we're here. After that, we're going to introduce ourselves and take a few questions. We're here as citizens of the planet, as victims of the pollution that's been carelessly dumped into our land, air, and sea for generations, and as children whose rights are being violated. Today, we are fighting back. 30 years ago, world leaders made a historic commitment to the world's children by adopting the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, an international binding human rights treaty which sets out the human rights of all children without discrimination of any kind. It is the most ratified human rights treaty in the world, and it is for us. But it seems like the world's governments have forgotten about their commitments. The treaty says that countries have to protect and respect every child's right to life, health, culture, and economic well-being. They're not. As our lives being protected our lives being protected when the frequency and intensity of storms has become so extreme that our houses are being blown down? Is our health being protected when our land is so wet the mosquitoes have given us malaria 3 times in the last year? Is our culture being protected when rising waters have eroded the land around our traditional fishing camps? Is our economic well-being being protected when our community's most prominent source of income is being disseminated? A year ago, I learned the stakes of the fight for our planet. I was visiting my hometown of Davis, California, when one of the deadliest wildfires ignited just an hour away in Paradise, California, destroying an entire city and killing 85 people. The deadly air quality from the fires aggravated my asthma, forcing me back to New York. But as I'm sure you all know, the air quality here can also be quite bad. I no longer take breathing for granted. My inhaler is my constant companion, helping me breathe when I struggle and reminding me that every breath counts. On behalf of all of us on the stage, I'm announcing that earlier this morning, we have filed an official complaint under the Convention on the Rights of the Child. The complaint process is the so-called communication procedure to the United Nations Committee on the Rights of the Child. Michael Hosfeld of Hosfeld LLC can answer any additional questions about the specifics of the complaint. But let me tell you about what the complaint means to us. 30 years ago, the world made a promise to us. Virtually every country in the world agreed that children have rights that must be protected. And those countries that signed the third optional protocol on communication have committed to allowing us to appeal to the United Nations when those rights are being violated. So that's exactly what we're doing here today. Each one of us had our rights violated and denied. Our futures are being destroyed. And we're here, each one of us, to tell you how and why. My name is Alexandra Villaseñor. I'm 14 years old, I'm from New York, and I'm here because 30 years ago, the world signed a contract between generations that the present world would leave a world worth inheriting to the future. And today, I want to tell the world, you are defaulting on that contract, and we're here to collect.
Waka yuktan atka takikagok agagam miungunga yupigo. Hi, my name is Carl Smith. I'm Yupik from Akak, Alaska, and I'm 17 years old. I'm here because climate change is affecting the way I live. It has taken away my home, the land, and the animals.
Yahweh. My name is Rantanan Jane. I'm 17 years old, and I'm from the Marshall Islands. And I'm here because climate change is destroying my islands through sea level rise and storms.
Hola, mi nombre es Chiara Sachi, tengo 17 años y soy de Buenos Aires, Argentina. Hi, good morning. My name is Chiara Sachi. I am 17 years old and I am from Argentina. I am here today because I have things to say, and I am here today in behalf of my people. Argentina is suffering from a climate crisis, and I think we need to decide on which side of the wick are we, and we need to do it now.
Yawalip, Avan David Ackley, Georgie Genoyum, Larrigan Milo. Hello, my name is David Ackley. I'm 16-year-old from Marshall Islands. I'm here today because my islands are drowning and I'm here to stop it.
Olá, meu nome é Catarina Lorenzo, eu tenho 12 anos, eu sou de Salvador, Bahia, Brasil. Hello, my name is Catarina Lorenzo, I'm 12 years old and I'm from Salvador, Bahia, Brazil. I'm here to demand all the world leaders to listen to us and to help us stop climate change together. In Salvador, Brazil, the government throw and dump sewage on the river, which goes to the ocean, in which we cannot go swim or surf because we will get sick. I'm saying this because this is the right thing to say, and this is the truth. And this is our life that is being harmed in our future.
Ali, my name is Carlos Hans Manuel. I'm 17 and I'm from Palau. I am here because I want my voice to be heard. I want bigger countries to know that our small island nations are the most vulnerable countries to be affected by climate change. Our homes are slowly being swallowed up by the ocean. The places where memories were made. The places where trust and respect were gained. The places where we used to have fun and enjoy. It's really sad to say, but those places, they're slowly disappearing. I am standing in front of you because I care about my generation. I care about my future generation. I want a better life for us, a better future. And the most important thing, I want a better planet for us to live in. Thank you.
Guten Morgen, ich heiße Raina Ivanova, ich bin 15 Jahre alt und ich komme aus Hamburg. Good morning, everyone. My name is Raina Ivanova and I'm 15 years old. I'm from Hamburg, Germany. And I'm here today because the climate change is not just affecting all of us. It's affecting every single person in this room and every single human being on our planet. And I want you to take your responsibility and make decisions today you can still be proud of in 11 years. Thank you.
Et kapkaire ne chinchero luarare e takum report lavarim. Yahweh, my name is Tokune Kabua and I am from the Marshall Islands. I am here because I am going to speak on behalf of my people because we are on the front line of climate crisis and I am here to stop that.
नमस्ते मेरा नाम रिधिमा पांडे है मैं 11 साल की हूँ और मैं इंडिया से हूँ Hello everyone, my name is Ridhima Pandey. I'm 11 years old and I'm from India. I'm here because I want all the global leaders to do something to stop climate change because if it's not going to be stopped, it's going to harm our future. So if we want to stop global warming, we have to do something now.
Hello everyone. First of all, I'd like to introduce this little sweet girl. This is Ellen Annie from the community of Sweden. She's 8 years old and she's here today because she loves reindeer and she wants to take care of it when she gets old. And the problem is that reindeer in her country are suffering from the food shortages, and that's why she's here today. السلام عليكم أنا اسمي رسلان جبالي جيتكم من تونس وأنا عمري 17 سنة. Hello everyone, my name is Jbali Raslan, I'm 17 years old and I'm from Tunisia. I came here today to tell you that I want my voice to get heard by my country, which is one of the most countries that are suffering from climate change. And I want to tell you that climate change is definitely coming and we must prepare for confrontation. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Adegbule Deborah. I'm 12 and I'm from Nigeria. And I'm here to make an impact and represent my country.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Iris Duquesne, j'ai 16 ans et je viens de France. Hi, my name is Iris Duquesne, I'm 16 and I'm from France. I'm here because climate change is affecting my country economically, but it's also affecting me personally.
Jag heter Greta Thunberg och jag är 16 år gammal. My name is Greta Thunberg. I am 16 years old. And I'm doing this because world leaders are failing to protect the rights of the child by continuing to ignore the climate and ecological crisis.
Thank you, all of you. Good morning. My name is Paloma Escudero. I'm the Global Director for Communications for UNICEF, and I will be moderating the Q&A today. Before I open the floor, I'd like to ask all these young people to take their seats, as we are going to be starting with the Q&A, and I'm sure a lot of questions are going to be addressed to them. So you can take your seats now. Just before we start, it's important for us to know that these children and young people are going to answer questions about their personal experiences of growing up on the front lines of climate change and how it affects their rights. And now, before we start, I would like to introduce Mr. Michael Hausfeld. Michael is the founder and chairman of the international human rights law firm, Hausfeld LLP. Michael's team are the legal representatives of the child petitioners. Michael is on hand today to answer any questions you have of a legal and technical nature, or any questions about the kinds of actions that governments can take to address the petitioner's complaint. Michael, I will give you the floor.
Good morning. I'm Michael, and on behalf of Earth Justice and my firm, we are honored to represent these young people in claiming their rights. Now let's hear from the young people.
Thank you so much. So let's start now with, we have several mics all over the room for people who want to ask questions. And also for you to know that legal questions will go to Michael. Any questions related to UNICEF will go to our Deputy Executive Director. But most of the questions, we hope, will be for the children to tell their experiences.
Hi, Carina Bergfeldt, Swedish television. My question is for Greta. First of all, what are you hoping to achieve with this complaint? And on a personal note, when you were giving your speech in the UN, it looked like it was an emotional speech for you to give. What was so different, or what was so special with that speech, and how does it feel now afterwards? Thank you.
What I'm hoping to achieve, and I think we all are, I can't speak for everyone, but to raise awareness and to raise attention on this crisis, and to actually make it clear that it was 30 years ago that you signed the Convention of the Rights of the Child, and world leaders have failed to keep what they promised. They promised to protect our rights, and they have not done that. So, yeah.
And the personal question about how you feel after your speech?
I think that is not for this.
If you allow me, anyone else wants to tell to the media what do you expect to achieve with this complaint?
I guess I can answer that. What I expect to achieve from this complaint is seeing our world leaders finally listen to the scientists and act on science.
Thank you so much. Any other question?
My name is Thomas from Sweden's Express, and this is a question for Greta. Could you please tell us what kind of message, what you are doing here today, what kind of message would you send by doing this to world leaders, and Also, can I ask you, do you think it's about time that President Trump would respond to what you have said today?
I think... I'm sorry, what was the first question?
What's the message you would like to
Yeah.
send to our leaders by doing what you are doing?
I think what we want to send is... The message we want to send is to say that we have had enough. And anyone else wants to answer that question? I can't speak on behalf of everyone.
Anyone wants to answer about the message to world leaders? Mm-hmm.
What about President Trump? He's here today. Do you think he should respond in any way?
I think maybe you should give some questions to the others as well.
Yeah, let's move to the questions to the others, and questions that the children could feel comfortable answering. Thank you.
Hi, Barbara Miller from the ABC. A question for Alexandria. By launching this today, are you saying you have no faith in the UN Climate Summit? You have no confidence in the outcome of today's event? And Greta, if you had anything to say to that as well, I'd be grateful. Thank you.
I think looking at the past UN climate summits and seeing the outcomes on those, and especially with the youth climate movement in the past year, we were expecting more conversation from this one, but I have little faith in our world leaders to do anything on the climate crisis. So that is why all of us students are up here today and filing this complaint.
This is an important question. Do you want to be sharing what do you expect out of this UN Climate Summit?
I think we all expect the world leaders to hear us finally and understand that they caused harm, a lot of harm to everyone, to every children, every generation. And by not respecting the Convention of the Right of the Child, they are not respecting the laws that themselves they set before, that everyone's supposed to respect, and they're not.
Thank you so much. More questions from... We have... We have the mics over here, yeah? More questions?
Hi, my name is Maria Domitila del Hacha. I'm a journalist from La Nación Argentina. This question is for whomever wants to answer, feel free. I know Greta said in her speech that she felt like her childhood was stolen. Do you feel the same way, being responsible to actually fight for climate?
Thank you. Anyone?
Yes, I do feel the same way because, you know, my islands are being destroyed and having no home is just not right for us. It's like taking away, stealing money from a little kid. Yeah. Thank you.
I also feel the same way because I can't do my subsistence lifestyle anymore. We used to be able to go hunt, geese hunt, any kind of hunt, berry picking, and now they're just disappearing.
Thank you so much. Any other question from the floor?
Hi, Siobhan Kennedy from Channel 4 News in the UK. A question for Greta, but for all of you, please, as well. I just wonder, is there any point to this climate change summit, this global summit, if the US, one of the biggest polluters, doesn't bother to show up?
Of course it's a point, because everything matters, everything we do matters, and this is a huge opportunity for world leaders to actually prove that they are united behind the science and that they are going to take real action. So no, I don't think this is wasted. I just hope something good will come out of it. I hope it will have a good outcome but we also have to prepare ourselves for the worst and continue even though if it has a bad outcome.
Thank you so much. Any other questions from the floor? Okay.
Hi, I'm Carrie Norton from the Radio France Internationale and Le Monde. I would like to, my question is to any of you because I think you're working together. Why do you think the world leader seems to act so slow, and what could make them act faster? Thank you.
I think they're acting slow is because they don't want to lose money. And I think they should go see what it's doing to the people in the little villages and the little cities, and see how it is in the villages, cities, instead of staying wherever.
Anyone?
Oh, I also think they're acting too slow because they're acting childish, and they should come to the Marshall Islands if they don't believe us. It's open. The Marshalls are open. You guys can come to see what's happening around there.
You want to stand up? I also agree with my peer from the Marshall Islands. I think the reason why world leaders are acting slow is that they're only waiting for real statistics. But statistics doesn't matter. If you want to act much more faster, then come to my home. I'm opening my home for you to see. For you to see better than listening and looking at statistics. Thank you.
We have more questions, yes.
Hi, Devorah Palladino, documentary filmmaker. This is a question for all of you. If the world leaders don't respond, what advice do you have for just regular people to make change and help the environment on a daily basis?
A week ago, I got to see a documentary that's called Paris to Pittsburgh, and it shows just little communities in little cities in the US mainly doing actions without the government. They're just doing it alone, and it works. And people come together and they act without the consent of the government. And I think if the government don't want to act, then good for them. But we can act alone. We can do it in communities. We can do it in groups. And the bigger the more people come together, the bigger the groups will be, and the more people will do it, and it'll work. We can do it even without the consent of the president or people who are high placed. We can do it. It can work.
Hi, Céline Bruno, France 24. Your complaint is aiming 5 countries. Why only 5?
Allow me to, Mike can answer that question.
There are either 44 or 45 countries that have agreed to the ratification of the convention. And so we were limited in terms of those countries that accepted being the object of a complaint brought under the convention. But those 5 countries themselves, within the 44 countries, are large emitters. They are representative of a larger group, the G20, who are clearly the world's largest emitters, and they are all in a position to be leaders to undertake action now to respond to the climate crisis.
Thank you so much. More questions in the floor?
Hi, I'm Libby. I'm with Democracy Now! Thank you all for being here. I'm wondering about, for any of you, hopefully maybe somebody who hasn't spoken yet, your message for youth activists. There were 4 million people in the streets on Friday. It's a huge deal. So if you could talk about what happens now with the youth strike movement. And then I'm also wondering the 11, 12 years, that idea that's being thrown around, but we have youth from frontline communities that are talking about what's happening now. What are your fears or concerns about that 11-year marker, and what are you hoping happens this year?
Anyone?
So first message for activists, I would say, and what's going to happen next with the youth movement.
Chiara is ready.
Hi. The strike, the Friday strike was huge, and I think that's a huge step. I believe we all have some kind of responsibility. What we eat, what we consume, what we buy. I think adults are taking their time to act, and they haven't done anything for us, for our future. So we are here today. So they haven't acted, and now they have to listen. You know, we are here, and we have to be educated, and we have to create consciousness. And I think that's happening. You asked something about the 11-year mark. I think we all need to be. We all need to realize that is happening. It's today. It's not only in the little islands, which of course it's much more noticeable, but it's affecting all of us, everyone in this room. So I just think that things are happening and people are moving and the people are in the streets. So we need to create a big movement, and we don't need them. We don't need them. We need to do this because our rights are being violated, of course, and we have the right to complain. And we also have the right to do this, you know? We need to go to the street. That is our place. We are people. Like, we are small people for small villages, from small islands. And we can move them ourselves. We don't need them. But, I mean, we could use some help, right? But we don't need them. We're a lot. My country is huge. We just need to be together, you know?
Yeah, thank you so much. Anyone else wants to send a message to all the young people who were in the streets last Friday, what is next, and also about what is going to happen in the coming 11 years?
I'm 12 years old, and I really think that what they did is really because who are being affected are them, and they did really the right thing, and they should not stop. They should not be scared, because, like, who are being affected are them, and whose future is being taken are their future. So if the adults or the people that don't want to help us, they don't need to help. We will act alone. If we need to act alone, we will, because we will not permit them to take our future away. They had the right to have their future. Why we don't have the right to have our own?
I just want to say quickly about this Friday. It was not a one-time thing. It's both the 20th and 27th, just so we focus on both dates. So this Friday, millions of children are also going to strike for the climate, just so you know, to make that clear.
Just branching off from what she said, it's our future. Back at my home island, Palau, families are being forced to move out of their house because of rise of sea level. Their rights are also being violated. Losing a home is not that easy, especially if your ancestors have lived there for hundreds of years. Our future depends on them. So I'm asking that our leaders must act now while we still have an island to live in. Because I don't want our island to disappear and be swallowed up by the ocean. We're islanders and we depend on our island. We don't want to become like other countries out there that they're losing their island slowly as well. So please, we must act now. Thank you.
Any more questions from the floor?
Beth Morrissey from Axios on HBO, and this question is for the representatives from the Marshall Islands. You said that you would open your home to show people what climate change looks like. I was wondering what you would show people if they came to visit you.
Thank you. To answer your question, madam, I would show you my backyard. Because that is where I walk out the door, you see climate change. It's happening. It's blowing. It's surging into your home, especially my backyard, because I live on the ocean side where surging waves are much more stronger than before.
And I would also show you my old house that was destroyed by a storm in the summer of 2015. And yeah, our seawalls that we built, even though we build them, they're no useful. So yeah.
Any more questions? Fantastic.
We'd show you practically everywhere. Everywhere you go on the Marshall Islands, it's just flooding, and people are forced out of their houses, and it's not a good sight. It's a lot.
Thank you so much. If there are no any more questions, first of all, I would say thank you so much for all the brave children and young people here today who have reminded us what realizing the rights is. So a big round of applause for all of them. So on behalf of all the group, anyone wants to do the closing remarks? The message you want to leave with everyone before they leave this room, and this is a message for the world.
I'd like to say to the youth who are marching in the streets and taking actions, stay positive, because even though the situation is kind of critical, there is still some hope, and there are still some adults who are willing to take actions. There are still some people in this world who have a will to live and let us live and let our children live. So stay positive, stay hopeful, and continue what you're doing.
No, it's just you have a unique opportunity. The world is listening to you at this moment. It's if you have any closing remark, any message, because you have now the opportunity to be heard.
As for my closing remarks, the only word I can say is Ipenron e Polo Kayur. Together we are strong. Kayur won't work. Our unknown power is really powerful. And if all of us, my peers, and all of us in here, if we're going to walk out this door, I want us to fight for our future, for your children's future, for our children's future, for our future generations, from now and forever. Thank you.
Thank you.
I also have something for all the youth out there and adults. Elang kia, if not now, when?
Everyone needs to act now, because if we don't act now, all of us are going to lose our homes. We're going to lose everything. Would you guys want to lose your homes?
My final message is that this crisis is a global crisis. It's not just going to affect one nation, it will affect all of us all around the world.
Hi. Okay. I'm just gonna grab what Alexandra said, and I'm gonna say two simple things. The first one is that there's no wall in the ocean. You can't build a wall around us. It's one planet. The climate crisis is affecting every single person. So I can't act alone. I couldn't. We need help, and we need to get together, and we are a team, and we are here, and we're standing in front of you because we are demanding something. The second thing is something my mom always says. It's a quote from the Che Guevara, and it says, y no pierdas la ternura jamás. It means never lose your tenderness. Thank you.
I just have 2 words to say, and they are act right now. 3.
Debbie, I think Debbie wants. Yeah?
I think we should act for our future and fight for our generation.
Just a message for the youth who are out there, who are trying to protect their planet. All I could say is that keep doing what you're doing, because if we all work together, we're unstoppable. Thank you.
We're standing up today not just for our future, we're standing up for your children's future and also for your future. And I want you to know that my little sister and many other little children in our generation are crying because they lose hope that we can win this fight. But if every one of us makes a little step, we can go a long way together.
Greta, do you want to say any final remarks? All has been said, no? I think all has been said, and thank you so much for making sure that the world today is listening to all these children. Thank you so much. That was very good.
Love I have